Section 6 of Birds and All Nature, Volume 4, Number 3, September, 1898. Recorded for LibriVox.org by Louise Meany. The Raccoon. On account of the value of its skin, this interesting animal is much sought after by those who take pride in their skill in securing it. It is commonly known by its abbreviated name of coon, and as it is a frequent occurrence throughout the United States, every country boy is more or less acquainted with its habits. As an article of food, there is much diversity of opinion respecting its merits. It is hunted by some for the sport alone, which is doubtless to be lamented, and by others who enjoy also the pleasure of a palatable stew. As a pet, it is also much prized. The food of the raccoon consists in the main of small animals and insects. The succulent oyster also is a favourite article of its diet. It bites off the hinge of the oyster and scrapes out the animal in fragments with its paws. Like the squirrel when eating a nut, the raccoon usually holds its food between its forepaws pressed together, and sits upon its hindquarters when it eats. Poultry is also enjoyed by it, and it is said to be as destructive in the farmyard as the fox, as it only devours the heads of the fowl. When taken young, the coon is easily tamed, but often becomes blind soon after its capture. This is believed to be produced by the sensitiveness of its eyes, which are intended only to be used by night. As it is frequently awakened by day, it suffers so much from the glare of light that its eyes gradually lose their vision. If it must be confined at all, it should be in a darkened place. In zoological gardens, we have frequently seen several of these animals exposed to the glaring sunlight, the result of ignorance or cruelty, or both. Unlike the fox, the raccoon is at home in a tree, which is the usual refuge when danger is near, and not being very swift of foot, it is well that it possesses this climbing ability. According to Halleck, the coon's abode is generally in a hollow tree, oak or chestnut, and when the juvenile farmer's son comes across a coon tree, he is not long in making known his discovery to friends and neighbours, who forthwith assemble at the spot to secure it. The sport is in no sense agreeable from a humane point of view, and we trust it will cease to be regarded as such by those who indulge in it. The raccoon makes a heroic struggle, and often puts many of his assailants hors de combat for many a day, his jaws being strong and his claws sharp. The young ones are generally from 4 to 8, pretty little creatures at first, and about as large as half-grown rats. They are very playful, soon become docile and tame, but at the first chance will wander off to the woods and not return. The coon is a night animal and never travels by day. Sometimes, it is said, being caught at morning far from its tree, and being unable to return thither, it will spend the hours of daylight snugly coiled up among the thickest foliage of some lofty tree-top. It is adroit in its attempts to baffle dogs, and will often enter a brook and travel for some distance in the water, thus puzzling and delaying its pursuers. A good-sized raccoon will weigh from 15 to 20 pounds. The curiosity of the raccoon is one of its most interesting characteristics. It will search every place of possible concealment for food, examine critically any object of interest, will rifle a pocket, stand upright, and watch every motion of man or animal, and indeed show a marked desire for all sorts of knowledge. Raccoons are apparently happy in captivity when properly cared for by their keepers. End of section 6. This recording is in the public domain.